Hello and welcome to the San Jose State Weekly Football Press Conference. The Spartans on the road this week to finish up the 2018 season against their rival Fresno State Bulldogs on Saturday, the 24th of November. It's ESPNU, the television coverage at 4 o'clock. Our pregame coverage on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network will begin at 3:30 Pacific time. A reminder for fans out there, the final Coach Brennan radio show of the year will not be recording on Wednesday this week because of the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll record that tomorrow on Tuesday from the Hukilau, 6 o'clock the record time, and it will air on Thursday on KLIV, our flagship station. Let's welcome in San Jose State head coach Brent Brennan.
Got my very important guest, Scotty Brennan, with me. Just going to make sure I stay on task here. Thanks for being here. What a football game with Nevada on Saturday. Congratulations to Coach Norvell, to that program. They're having a really nice season. I thought our team really played hard. We're disappointed with the outcome, but again, it's another Mountain West Conference game where it's a four-quarter game, and I felt like our defense came up huge so many times in that game, and we were able to get a little bit going offensively. I thought Michael did a nice job stepping in and completed some throws, and we still struggled to find enough run game to sustain some of those drives and to kind of play team football at the same time. We felt that a little bit in the Utah State game. Kind of early on, we couldn't get both sides of the ball firing at the same time. And it was better in this game, but still not enough. So now we're, again, our senior day was I thought, really special for those guys. That senior class, I can't say enough about them and how they've kept our team together and they've kept us focused on the process of improvement and the process of competing every game until the final buzzer sounds. So I love those guys. I'm so appreciative of them, and I'm going to really miss them, when they graduate and move on. But we've got a huge game this week. Obviously, Fresno State is a really, really special game. I think rivalry games is just they're things that you remember the rest of your life. Fresno's playing at a really high level. They've obviously already secured their spot in the conference championship game. Coach Tedford and that staff have done a great job in 2 years of getting them to play at a really high level and get them to execute and find ways to win football games. They had another nice win last weekend against San Diego State. So it's a real challenge for us going on the road, finishing the season with where we're at, and how do we want to feel about this team when we're done, and how do we want to feel about the progress of our program. So I think it's a really important game for us. We're playing another veteran group. That seems to be a recurring theme with the teams that are playing really good football in our conference. You look at this, they've got a bunch of seniors playing on offense, a bunch of upperclassmen, seniors, juniors on defense. They're incredibly efficient in both places. They play outstanding defense, run to the ball, get after the quarterback. So we got a lot of work to do. So what do you got?
So, Coach, with the obviously the last game, rivalry, as you mentioned, and considering that Fresno already secured their spot, is there any expectations you can speak to in terms of are you going to open up the playbook, get more experimental, or is it just going to be kind of business as usual with everything?
Well, I think that all depends on kind of what we see them do. I mean, everything that we do, game in and game out, is whatever we think as a coaching staff is giving us the best chance to win offensively. Some of the stuff that we've had this year that's been tricky, in terms of personnel that's been available to us game in and game out. But that's football, and it's a physical game, and injuries are part of the process. So, as we watch Fresno State and we see what they do, we're going to be looking for ways to try and create some mismatches or try and create some numbers advantages for us to run the football and execute. And so to me, it comes down to just our execution, and can we be consistent, matching up execution with great effort, and that's the goal coming into this weekend.
Stood out to me, and just out of curiosity, why did you decide to punt at the 50 down on 2 possessions with 5 minutes left?
Say that again. Why did we decide to punt?
At the 50 down on 2 possessions with 5 minutes left.
Because the down and distance was more than I thought. I think it was maybe 4th and 9 or 4th and 11, and so I was ready. I had told Coach McGivern this is going to be 4 down, depending on what we get here, and then we didn't get enough on 3rd. So, and then our defense was playing so well. I thought we'd be able to get a stop there. That was why.
Question on how you, particularly chance, I guess, like, is that more on the fly where you insert them, or is that kind of pre-planned? You're going to be at the end of the first quarter, end of the second quarter. How does that kind of?
That's on the fly. That's on the fly, and sometimes, obviously Chance is a freshman, and with the new redshirt rule, want to give him a chance to show us something, and I thought he handled it well. I think anytime you get your first college snaps, the world is moving extremely fast, especially at the quarterback position. And so I thought Chance handled that situation well. And I think, my hope is that he'll continue to build on that and continue to develop as a player in practice. And as it pertains to this week's game plan, we'll see what that is for him.
Hey, Coach. Hey, so compared from last year to this year, your turnover margin has increased dramatically. What do you think was the reason for that?
I think the players and the coaches have done a great job. It's something I know I've mentioned it a lot throughout the course of the season, but when we met as a team, I think it was January 22nd when they came back from Christmas break. That was the first thing I said we had to fix was our turnover margin, and I give us a lot of credit that way. I think the players have done an awesome job being really diligent with our ball security. Our quarterbacks have done a better job being secure with the ball in the pocket, and then also making good decisions as to where they go with the football. And then our defense is come up with more picks, fumbles, whatever. So that's been a collective effort. It's been a huge area of emphasis, and it's something that we're really excited about and something we have to do this weekend. We have to do a great job with the turnover battle this weekend to have a chance against Fresno State.
Hey, Coach. The Spartans are 5-2 in the last 7 season finales. How important is it to win the last game, and what does that mean leading into next year?
You want this one? Okay. I think, to me, this is the most important game of the year, and it's the most important game of the year because it's the only one we get to play this week, and we don't get to play another one for a long time. So everything that goes into it is of the utmost importance. I think our team, obviously, what they've been through, the struggle, the growth, everything that comes with that, the difficult times, the fun times, the good moments, the bad moments, all of that. We have one last chance to take the field together, and this team will never be together again like that. And so, what do we want that to be, and how much, effort can we put into our preparation and our focus to get us in a position to play great football this weekend on the road against a good Fresno State team. So I'm excited for us to get to work with the players tomorrow and put together a plan that gives us a chance.
Coach Christian Johnson picked up the fumble recovery in the second quarter for the first of his career. That was obviously a moment worth noting, but what else were you proud of when it came down to the Spartan defense?
I thought the Spartan defense did a great job. I thought that Coach Odom and the staff had those guys really prepared. Multiple 4th down stops. We had the play where we had the running into the punter, right? And so that gave them 5 yards. So then it gave them a 4th and short. And Ethan Aguayo, I believe, made a huge hit, and we stopped him there. And so then all of a sudden we got good field position with our offense. So, the multiple 4th down stops and 2 turnovers. Obviously, Ethan, again, with the tipped interception on the screen play was a really big moment in that game early on. So I thought our defense really, really played hard. I think there's a couple throws we'd like to contest a little better or finish a little better, but I thought against a really physical run attack and against a team that had really been playing excellent offense the previous month, I thought our defense did a really good job, holding them to 21 points and doing what we did against the run game and on third down. And then the turnover battle, I think was 4-1 maybe. So it was just a lot of good stuff.
Any particular key matchups, individual key matchups to watch on the Fresno side? I mean, there's some obvious ones I know, but just curious what's on your mind.
Well, I think the biggest matchup for us in terms of our chance to be successful is going to be their defensive front versus our offensive line and our running backs. I think that's going to be an absolute critical one. They've been playing fantastic defense. They've got really good players up there. So I think it all starts there with our offensive line and our running backs versus their defensive front. That'll be a big matchup that we have to, that we have to show up and play well in. And then I think on the, for our defense, they're so multiple, and Coach Tedford has always done such a great job, developing quarterbacks in offensive football. He's one of those guys who's just been a brilliant offensive guy his whole career. And so they're always sound. They always seem to be in the right play call. Obviously, Marcus McMaryion is playing really, really well for them. He's like Iceman from Top Gun, no mistakes, but he's a fantastic player. And then, to combine that with the, 4 seniors or 5 seniors on their offense, 4 seniors on their offensive line, and their senior receivers who are all really good players, senior quarterback. And so they're executing at a really high level. So it's a huge challenge for our defense, and I think that matchup's going to be critical too.
Speaking of your defense, Ethan Guayo had 20 tackles, interception against the Wolfpack. What did that performance mean, and the leadership he brings to your defense?
Ethan is one of the most quality young men I've ever been around. His story is amazing, right? He was a walk-on here and earned his way, and he's now been a 2-year starter, and he's had a tough year. He had a grandmother pass away. He's had some personal that stuff, and he just keeps coming to work every day, keeps going to school, doing the right thing. I think our team is so much better because Ethan's a part of it, not just because of how he plays, but because of who he is. And so he's a junior, and he's one of those guys that I think will continue to establish himself as a leader for our football team. As we finish out this season and as we go into next year.
Coach, this is something that was on my mind, and a couple of people who asked me this question. So the U.S. Open trophy made a guest appearance at the game. Just how awesome was it to see the trophy, and did the other coaches and the players touch the trophy or avoid it altogether?
I was unaware that the U.S. Open trophy was at our game until I saw a picture of it. My brother-in-law, who's a big golfer, showed me a picture of it. So I was unaware that it was there. Obviously, really, really cool thing that it was. But we were so locked into senior day and making sure that experience for our seniors and their families was something that they would remember and something that would be positive for them. So that was kind of where I was at.
Kind of a recruiting philosophical question, but I'm just curious, like, when you compare just the cities of San Jose versus Fresno or the Bulldog program, and they've gotten like Paul George in the NBA, they have Derek Carr and Aaron Judge, for instance. What is that? I mean, it's a small town, and what keeps these athletes or attracts people to that program, regardless of the sport?
I think they've done a good job over time with that program. When David Carr and Derek Carr kind of ended up coming through there, both local guys, and Big Brother played there, and there was a lot of familiarity with the program. I think they've got a good fan base, and I think they support the program well. I think they've done a good job over time with facilities and building that up. So I think just the more recent history speaks to that level of success they've had, recruiting some of those good players. But I think if right now we're kind of in that space where we're building that stuff, and we are, our facilities are changing here, and Coach Prelo is getting basketball turned around, and we were working our tails off getting football turned around, and so hopefully in a couple years you'll be asking me those same questions.
Hey, Coach. After the game last week, Josh Oliver talked about how though his stats are very impressive this season, he's just one member of the team. Looking at the stats, he's one touchdown away from the all-time San Jose State record for tight ends. How important for you is it to try and get him that touchdown?
Absolutely want to get him that touchdown, and I think just that quote from him is exactly who Josh Oliver is. He's incredibly unselfish. He does the right thing, and I think when you look at Josh and his development, it's really a good thing for young people to see, because we're living in this day of like instant gratification. We talk about this, how many likes did they get on social media, or how many retweets, or whatever it is. Josh is a guy that has developed over time, and he'll tell you that. He didn't always look like Hercules. He had to work really hard to get that way. And his game, if you watch the kind of, the process and the development of his game, it's been a 4-year process to where he is now playing better at that position than, in my opinion, every tight end in the country. And so, I think it's really awesome to see a guy that has that unselfishness and understands the work that it takes to develop and grow and be about the process and not just, talking about the result or how many likes I got on Twitter.
Experiencing the players, actually, even the Niner players and stuff, do you think for football players, they just got to be like the perfect athlete and gentleman? I mean, you're expected to be this gladiator out there and then not let the emotion get you and get called on these personal penalty plays. Is that where you say that character is always so important? I mean, you're really the bottom line. It's just really what it's about.
No, absolutely. I think that's critical, and I think that's critical not just as it pertains to us being able to walk away from a personal foul in a highly contested moment of a game. I think young people now deal with more scrutiny, more people have more access to them than ever, and so part of that character is also them being able to, if they're at In-N-Out Burger and someone says something nasty to them, or can they walk away? Can they control themselves? I think that's always a challenge for young people. I mean, whether you're a football player or whether you're a 20-year-old young man, right? If someone says something to you disrespectfully about something you really care about, right? Do you have the right reaction in that moment? And I think that's hard. But I think, we spend a lot of time educating our people here, our young men here, and working with them, and I think that's always a challenge. But as long as you do recruit character or you develop character throughout their process here, I think at the end you have a chance to have a really good man going out into society, whether that's going to work, their career in a normal job or having a chance to play on the next level. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Scotty.
All right, that does it for this week's press conference. Once again, San Jose State on the road this Saturday to close out the 2018 season against the rival Fresno State Bulldogs. Game will be televised on ESPNU at 4 o'clock, our pregame coverage on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network at 3:30 Pacific Time. And again, the Coach Brennan Show will record at the Hukilau in Japantown on Tuesday this week instead of Wednesday. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.